Hi guys, how you doing? This is Redstone Ninja here, and today I have a tutorial for you on how to use MC Edit. Now, it is quite old technology, but it's still very relevant. Although it does provide tools on how to add portion effects to mobs, which is pretty irrelevant now that we can just do /effects.e. But it's still struggling, you know, on there. It's a pretty useful tool. Although we got all these commands /fill and /clone, it's still probably one of the most useful tools I've ever used in Minecraft. So you know, don't just toss it aside. I have left the download link in the description, so if you want to follow along, then you can just click right there and download it. And when you get it, all you got to do to open it, you just click it. But it's none of this stuff up here. You want the .exe at the bottom, and it's going to self-extract, and you have your program right here. Not this one, this one. Although you should probably leave that one be, the little black screen one. Okay, now this is quite important. Basically, if you don't turn off Minecraft before you start using this, then your worlds are going to get corrupted, and it's not going to be very good. It's not going to be happy for anyone that's going to be involved. So, you know what? You should probably just turn off at least the world you're going to be editing. At least save and quit the world you're going to be editing first, because that's, you know, probably the world you don't want to mess up if you're going to be using something like this to edit it with. Before I start, I want to make sure that that's not going to do anything. Right? Okay. So to open a world, you need to go to open a level, and it will go straight to your Minecraft directory. Right, I believe I created the world for it. Yep, here it is, MC Edit tutorial. You click on that folder, and then in here you got your level.dat. That is like the don't ask me to explain it, but that is the file that you're going to be using. I've been doing a little testing around with it myself already, just to make sure I already, you know, I already know it myself. I mean, I don't want to show myself up, you know. Okay, so there are a few tools in here that are useful. These three at the end, a bit more technical, but basically you can move the spawn point, you can move the player. Yeah, not that useful. You can do that with commands now, so it's not very useful anymore. Right, so to get to grips with how you move, it's just you right click and it does that, right? And you can click on all these stuff at the bottom. If you right click again, it does that, and you can move this selection box. If you scroll, then it moves it further away and closer towards you. Simple, right? And you press W to move forward. That's all you gotta know. You can also use A, S, and D, but S goes. You got to remember, S doesn't go backwards; it goes behind you. It's a bit weird to get used to, but S, even if you're facing down, it doesn't go backwards. It goes the opposite direction to what you're facing. Z always goes down, however, and Q always goes up. So, yep, that should be bird in mind. But that should be bear in mind, Minecraft. Right, so the tools you should probably know are brush is quite a useful one. Now you should probably just mess around with this yourself. There's a bunch of brushes. You can make a square brush if you can actually press it down. You can edit like what it's made out of. You can make it out of wood. Simple stuff, this really, but you can make interesting shapes with it, I suppose. And here you can change the size of it. It's not very technical at all, but for the builders amongst you, I suppose it's kind of useful. But we're gonna move on from that because it's not really that interesting. You can just make squares. You can also make diamonds. Suppose it'd be cool to make a big one. I'll make one big one. That's what I'll do. Why won't it move up? Can you not move it up? Oh, that sucks. Right, there you go. I made one big one. Hopefully that'll keep you happy in the comment section. Oh, that's a weird shape. I'll put that one in as well. Right, okay. So the other things you need to know are these two are very useful. They sort of come in like they sort of come in like a pair. But first, before you use it, you need to select an area. Okay. So basically, what we can do, we can delete any block at all. Right, we can just select a cubical region and just demolish it entirely. So I can take all this, and then I can go to fill my place. I could fill it all with cobblestone and make a massive cobblestone square essentially, but no, I don't want to do that. If I click on it's actually going to replace all the non-blocks inside it with essentially deleting all the blocks inside it. Just like that. Fill. Control D to deselect, and you can end up with some quite interesting stuff because the water doesn't update and you end up with like waterfalls and stuff. It looks pretty cool. And you can make a quite cool basin there, I suppose. I don't know. Fill the place you can also use to make like massive squares as well. Although it's not really any point if you can make it with the brush tool. I suppose it's a bit better, I suppose. It's a bit better than the brush tool. So I'll just show you an example of that. Oh, and if you've got a selection area that you've not like made the right selection with, I better show you how to do that actually. So if I deselect that, Control D. Right, okay, so if I select, for instance, this area, and I want to replace all the grass. Hang on a minute. Let me go to a better place. Okay, I've got an idea. So if I say I want to replace all the leaves on these trees with wool, all you got to do for that is you go to film replace, and you say you want to find the leaves, which will be these one, just leaves. It should, and then if you click any subtype, it will select any type of leaf whatsoever. Okay, so it's going to find leaves and replace with, I don't know, cyan wool. Then actually realised, hang on a minute, we've not selected large enough area. I mean, look, what about these trees over here? Well, if you get your mouse in the right place, you can select like the top plane and drag it up a bit, and you can drag this bit, and you can drag this bit, and it's still going to do the same. It's still going to do the same algorithm. If you press replace, it's just going to do it over a larger area. You can actually change the selection area that you selected after you have selected it, and you can see now we've like replaced all the leaf blocks. It's found all the leaf blocks and it's replaced them with cyan blocks. And you can do that with any two blocks in the game. You can place bedrock with lava. You can replace lava with bedrock. Any two blocks that you need replacing. Like if you make a build and you're like, you know what, actually, like a massive build I'm talking about, not one that's like 5 blocks big, like a massive build, and you're like, you know what I've realised, I should have used redstone blocks instead of those red wool blocks. What you can do, you can go into MC Edit, select the entire build, and then just do find redstone block, find red wool block, replace with redstone block. Simple. Control D to deselect, and I think we're almost done. Another thing we do need to talk about is the clone one, the clone function, which is awesome. So if I want to clone some terrain into a super flat world for maybe a map or something, I can just select this area over here, or maybe I want to build a house on it in a super flat world. I don't know, whatever your position may be, whatever your reason may be for copy and pasting terrain. If you select an area of terrain, whoops, I want some of the caves as well. I almost forgot. So I guess we'll have to come round to the bottom, select this and drag down. There we go. There we go. That's more like it. Okay, all you got to do to copy and paste it you don't need to mess around with this clone. All you gotta do is you gotta do Control C, and it puts it up here. We can actually save that as a file, as like a section of a world, and you can call it whatever you want. And you can even share it on the internet as well. It's like you could select your redstone contraption, and maybe post a link to it in a video comment, maybe. Not posting any, I'm not giving it any hints, no. If you wanted to do that, you know, if you wanted to share your creation online, then someone else could then actually download that file and paste it into their world. So that's how cool this is. So if you just save that, yes, I want to replace it. What you can then do is then go into any other world you want. So I'm going to close this, save. I probably shouldn't have done that. This is going to take forever. Cancel. And you can open up any other world. What world should I open? I don't have any other worlds to hand her. It's going to have to be something. Where can I put it? Yeah, I suppose I could put it in here. See, if I want to import it, that normally isn't there. Ignore that. When you turn off MC Edit and turn it on again, it will have disappeared by then. So just forget that's there. If you want to import it from, say, your desktop or from the internet, then what you'd have to do is click this import button, and then you just find it. Of course, mine's just down here, and then you got it. There it is. If you get it in the right place, there we go, and import it, you can see that there it is. There's a bit of floating grass above it, but that doesn't matter. We can get rid of that when we've actually got into the game. Control D to deselect, and there we have that selection of land has been pasted into a super flat world, and we have an actual interesting bit of land here. What's this? Is this a ravine? Looks like it. Put some iron. Right. Okay, so I think we're almost done here. There's just one more thing I need to make clear, and that is the filter tool, because it is pretty awesome. Now, you can make a filter for pretty much anything, but you can only edit a section of blocks. So like I have to select a region first. Right, so once I've selected a region, the filter can only execute its commands inside that region. So if I click filter, you can see there's a bunch of filters already put into the game, but a bunch of them are really obscure, and they're not, in my opinion, they're not really useful, most of them, apart from maybe this one, forest. So what does this one do? Oh, it makes a forest. Oh, it makes a, that, it's not a very good tree. I don't know. I've never used this one actually. I wouldn't know how it works, but basically there's a bunch of complicated filters which do a bunch of different things, and they basically generate blocks. Most of them generate blocks in one way or another to create things that you wouldn't be able to do in game. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm just not a good enough builder. Well, I don't know, but there's a bunch of filters in there. But better than that, you can actually download filters off the internet. Now I'm going to put a link to a filter by Seth Wing called Maze, I think it's just called Maze, and I'll show you how to put it into your MC Edit files later. But to use it, all you got to do is go to the same place. How do I get back? Right, you go to the same place, you click filter, and you just find the one that you downloaded. It should appear on the list here, Maze. I mean, this is the same with any filter what you use. You just find it on the list, and whatever parameters it may ask you for. This one's got none. Filter, and it does whatever it does. And you can make a filter for pretty much anything, which is awesome. And you can download them off the internet or ask someone else to make them for you. It doesn't seem to create an entrance. I think you have to dig one out yourself out of any point. An entrance and an exit. It's not one of those find the middle ones. I think it's one where you have to find the entrance and exit ones. Right, okay. I think that is everything inside here that's actually pretty useful, because these three aren't. You can do them two with commands, and I don't even know what that is, but I've never needed it, so it's probably not very useful. As for the filter thing, once you've downloaded it, all you're gonna do, you got to drag it into, or you got to import it into. Where would it be? Ah, yeah, it is. I thought it was. Okay, so you want to go into here, and then filters, and in here, I'm going to right click, add files to archive, and then you just got to find the filter and click on it really, and it will add it to here, and it will add it as a Python file or whatever coding software that you use. If you don't use anything, it will just add it as a unknown file, I suppose. But then you'll actually be able to use it inside MCEdit, which is awesome. If you did like this tutorial, then I would highly suggest moving on to the next tutorial in the series, which is on how to use Noteblock Studio. If you're interested in that sort of stuff, making Noteblock covers, then I'd highly suggest that, because I mean, it's pretty much the only way that you can do it. I mean, doing it by hand takes forever. Trust me, I've tried once. So yeah, that's the end of this tutorial. If you did like this video, be sure to leave a big fat thumbs up. If you have any questions, then I'd be delighted to answer them in the comment section below. And if you really want to, then subscribe. But apart from that, this has been the Redstone Ninja, and my work is done here.